Hello, everyone, and welcome to A New Direction. My name's Jay Izzo, and oh, man, we have another great show. So stinking easy to do great shows, great authors, great books. Great books. Makes my job so easy. It's unfair. It's unfair to the rest of the working world that I get to do something so easy and so much fun. But I'm passionate about it. I love it. And I thank you for joining us. Grateful for every one of you who are listeners, who join us live stream, who hear us on radio across the country. I don't want to forget you people out there, because you know what? I appreciate you. I know we're coast to coast, AM, FM 24/7. So thank you for everybody doing that. Let's talk about this book. This book is entitled Unknown, Finding Connection in a Disconnected World by Keith Spurgin is the book. And let's talk about something together, just you and I, the audience here, for real quick. You know, COVID was bad, right? We can all admit COVID was bad. It wasn't good. Right? Can we at least say it wasn't good? All right, can we do that? But there's a bigger epidemic than COVID out there. And it's not getting better, and nobody's talking about it. You know what it is? Loneliness. We are far more technologically connected than we've ever been before. We are able to talk to each other, you know, via direct messaging on our whatever platform that we want to communicate with, and we like and we comment and we create these conversations. We have emails, we have texts, we do all these things. We feel like we're supposed to be so connected, and yet we still feel so doggone empty and alone. Why? Because we need human connection. Real human connection, not two-dimensional human connection, three-dimensional human connection. It's built into us. It's been designed into us. It is how we operate as human beings at our best level. It is what we need. And if you're a leader, let's say you're a CEO, let's say you're an entrepreneur, let's say you're somebody at the top of the food chain in your business, you know what? You're probably the loneliest person in the world, because you know what you're saying? Because I know I hear it. Nobody understands me. Nobody understands what I have to go through. Nobody understands the pressure. And I feel so alone. Yeah. Right? Well, we want to help you today. I have Keith Spurgin with me today, who wrote this book, Unknown. And I got to tell you something. This may feel like a little bit of a departure from my normal show, but it's not, because whatever place you're in, and listen, I know who you are out there all over the world. By the way, thank you, world. We're in 147 countries. Thank you. All right. I appreciate you. But loneliness has no creed, no race, no color. Everybody can be lonely, regardless of where you live. This is the thing that we're going to try to help you with today. But I want to introduce you to Keith Spurgin, because he's cool and he's awesome and he's really a neat dude. Even though we really just met a few minutes ago. Keith Spurgin is an author and an international speaker and the president of Growth Resourcing Group, an organization dedicated to helping leaders, pastors, and business owners lead better than ever. A long history of leading multiple organizations and relationship building has convinced him nothing happens without great leadership and great relationships. He sold out to help leaders lead better. If you're one of those leaders, you've experienced his stubborn pursuit of growth and transformation in his own life and in the lives around him. He's a husband, he's a father, and a friend to many. He loves to build long-term relationships. I'm hopeful that he will choose me that go the distance, and he can smile at that anytime he wants to. He's an avid cyclist, sports fan, which you know me, and founder of New Hope Church in Wiley, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. Welcome to the first time ever to A New Direction. I don't think it'll be the last. Keith Spurgin, welcome to A New Direction, brother.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here, an honor to be with your audience. And so thank you for having me.
There's a lot of people tuning in, by the way, live right now. So thank you, everybody who's tuning in live. Appreciate you doing that. So we got a lot of people out there right now. So please, if you got a question, during the show, please don't be afraid to ask Keith. He's happy to answer it. We'll do our best to get them all on there if you will ask them for sure. Keith, right away in the preference, I kind of gave it away a little bit, but we talk about we're technologically connected in ways that we've never been before, but we're still lonely. Why?
Well, Jay, because we're hardwired for connection. We just are. Brene Brown says that so well. She says we're hardwired for connection, and without it, there is suffering. And it's just true. As humans, we need other humans. And we have pseudo community, pseudo connection, false connection that feels authentic because we get all these likes and we get emails and we get texts and all the things. But it's not until you sit down with somebody face to face and interact as two humans that you feel truly connected at a level that technology is just it's a sort of connection, and it's helpful and it's great. I'm not against technology. We're using it right now. It's great.
Yeah, right.
But it's not the same as what my wife calls eyeball time, where we're eyeball to eyeball and we're really there in the room together.
Yeah, sometimes they call it belly to belly. No,
yeah.
Right?
That's really intimate.
Well, sometimes we invade each other's space, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to jump to chapter 2. It's called, by the way, folks, the book is divided up into 3 sections. Part 1 section, it's all about connection, understanding the nature of relationships. And also I want to say that at the end of each chapter, Keith asks some very probing questions that you really need to answer here for yourself if you really want to get over the hump in terms of making your relationships healthier and better. And I don't want to miss that. But in chapter 2, the relationship pain cycle, Keith, here's the thing I know about leaders. I know about this in people in general. I know tons of people out here like this. They've been hurt. We all have experienced trauma on some level throughout our lives. It could have been, it could have been our parents, right? In a relationship with mom and dad. And that didn't help us maybe because, you didn't get the emotional support that you needed, or the mental push, or there wasn't the physical push, there wasn't the spiritual aspect, because I believe we're 4-part people. We're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual people. There was, and maybe in some cases, the spiritual side actually took a dark side to it, because that's incredibly possible too. But then we run into this relationship cycle where we see these people bounce from relationship to relationship to relationship, right? And folks, are you out there, if you're one of those people who are bouncing from relationship to relationship to relationship, there's an answer why you're doing that. So talk about the relationship pain cycle and why they may be bouncing.
Yeah. So because we're hardwired for connection, we all want to connect, even if we don't want to admit that. It's in us, and there's this desire. So we try to connect with, it could be a friendship, it can be a relationship at work, it could be a business partnership, it could be a romantic relationship, whatever it is. So we try to connect. And then because we are both broken people, and a lot of us don't recognize that a lot of times. It's like everybody else is broken. No, you're broken too. We're all broken.
We're all broken.
And because we're both broken, there's going to be conflict. It's inherent in every human relationship in our lives. There's going to be conflict, which means there's going to be pain. When I say conflict, it doesn't necessarily mean yelling and shouting at each other. It just means maybe we disagree, or maybe we see something differently, or whatever. This creates pain for us. And sometimes as leaders, we don't like to admit that. Like, nobody can hurt me. I don't get wounded. Yes, you do. We all do. Whether we admit it or not, we all do. So we get hurt. And so what happens is we distance ourselves. So we isolate to a degree because I don't want to get hurt again. Right. So, it's like I touch a hot stove and burn my hand. I'm not going to touch a hot stove anymore, right? Which makes a lot of sense in the physical world. It doesn't work in relationships because we're hardwired for connection. So we start a relationship, we get hurt because we're two broken people. We isolate, we distance ourselves. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to distance myself so I don't get hurt. But now I'm feeling pain because there's nobody close to me. And so what do? Well, because I'm hardwired for connection, I'm going to try again. Maybe a romantic relationship, maybe a friendship, maybe a business partner, whatever it is, I'm going to try again. But then I get hurt again. I isolate again. And we end up in this vicious cycle of rotating through relationships. And every time we get hurt, what we do is we distance ourselves even further. We build a bigger, thicker wall. And then we wonder, why is nobody close to me? Why do I feel so alone? Well, because you got this wall that's so ridiculously thick in your life, nobody can touch you. Nobody can be close to you. And even when you engage relationships, the other person feels that wall. They feel that distance, that you're not really there with them. That's why last year, Mark was your best friend. This year, Megan's your best friend. Next year, Michael will be your best friend. It's this cycle that we go through over and over and over again until we recognize it and go, I got to do something different.
I operate as a coach. I operate from a foundational platform where there's no business problems. They're just personal problems that infect your business, right? It's where I operate from. And in the business setting that I see, when it comes to this loneliness thing at the top, and this cycle that we see, is the reluctance for leaders to want to get close to employees or learn more about them. And then they wonder why there's no loyalty. And so they go, well, I can't get close to him because every time I've tried to get close to an employee, you know what they've done? They've ghosted me. They've abandoned me. You know what? Right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And so then what they do is they go, but I keep reading all these books, Coach Keith, I keep reading all these books that say, you need to get to know your employees and you need to get to know them. And, because that will create it. And Keith, I'm just telling you, I got burned over and over again as a leader doing that. Give me an answer to that one, Keith. I'm just, you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah. And I've been burned too. So, but here, the reality goes back to, we're all broken people.
Right.
So we're going to get hurt.
Right.
So with that, you can look at that and go, well, I'm going to get hurt. So I'm just going to be by myself. I'm going to do it on my own, be close to no one. And you can live a lonely existence. And there's some really, really negative consequences that come from that. I mean, 29% increase in heart disease, 32% increase in stroke, dementia, 50% increase, premature death. Loneliness, isolation produces a 60% increase in premature death from people who are connected. So you can choose that, but there's some really, really harsh consequences that come with it because, again, we're hardwired for connection. Or you can say, well, that was really painful and that was really hard, but I'm not going to give up because I'm human and I need connection in my life. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. That's who you are. We're all wired for connection. So you've got to find some people with a values match that you can be vulnerable with. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later, but vulnerability is so vitally important for healthy relationships. And because we get hurt, we do the exact opposite. We put up a facade and keep everybody at a distance and act like nothing's ever wrong with us. And that just you can't build relationships with that. So
no,
yeah,
you can't.
So much to say about all that.
Well, no, you know what you just sang, right? Without realizing, you just sang a Garth Brooks song called "Standing Outside the Fire."
Yes.
You know that you just sang that song, right?
Yeah.
Because the lyric goes, "We call them cool, those hearts that have no scars to show, the ones that never do let go, and risk if the table's being turned. We call them fools who have to dance within the flame, who chants the sorrow and the shame that always come with getting burned. But you got to be tough when consumed by desire, because it's not enough just to stand outside the fire."
Yeah. There's no real life there. It's
Right.
like I tell people all the time, look, you can be the most successful person in the world. Whatever, however you define success, money, prestige, popularity, followers on social media, I don't know, whatever, having the most stuff, whatever. And you can be the most successful person in the world, but if you don't have anybody to share it with, what difference does it make? It means nothing. It's
Nothing.
empty without someone to share it with.
Well, and this is where we find alternative behaviors to try to cope with it, right?
Sure.
People try to drink too much, and or they'll go into drugs, or it'll be sex, whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
sure.
And the fact of the matter is, at the end of all of it, you're exactly the same as you were when you started,
Or maybe worse
or maybe worse. Yeah,
because of the consequences.
because of the consequences associated with it. Chapter 3 is connection, connection, connection. Who is greater than what?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, here's the truth. The art of living well is the art of cultivating connection, 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 connection. And you start talking about the point of the thing, that is, joining a group is not the thing. The point of the thing is connection. Talk us through that a little bit, please.
So I'm a cyclist. So I love bicycles. I love everything about them. I love the Tour de France. I love all the things. I love the outfits. I love the bikes, all the things. But the key word in the cycling club is not cycling. It's club. It's the people. It's the connection. Because I can have the greatest bike in the world. I can buy a $20,000 road bike and have the greatest outfit ever, but without somebody to share it with, it's just another thing. It's all about the connection, and again, that's what we're made for. That's how we're designed. We're designed for connection, and it's so easy to get lost in all the other things. Gallup did a survey several years ago, and they found that the number one factor of employees' satisfaction was not pay, was not their title, was not any of those things. The number one factor in employee satisfaction was if they had a best friend at work. That's what really mattered. That's what made all the difference.
And with that study, I think it was the same study, that they found that the employees who were most engaged, right, were the ones that had the bosses who were really engaged back with them.
Yes.
There was some sort of relationship there where they could trust them, and they felt confidence in their direct report.
Yeah.
And this is the other piece, right? Is that, when, corporations, right? There's the CEO, and then it goes down.
Yeah.
Right. But that person that you directly report to, if that's somebody that you can have confidence in, that I put trust in, that treats me well, it all creates this whole thing. And then if you can have a comrade who you're going to battle with every day, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get to, the band of brothers here in a little bit, but
Yeah.
that becomes really, really critical in the business world. That, and this is where CEOs and leaders, I think, have to get on board, is understanding, do your employees have a connection? Even if it's not with you, right? Because maybe
exactly.
But do they have a connection? And is that even a concern of yours? And I think the point you're making is it should be.
Mm-hmm. I think team building really matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you see a team, like just think about a sports team. You see this team in the first half, they cannot do anything. They're throwing the ball away. They're all over the place. They're not together. They're yelling at each other. They go in the locker room. Something happens. The coach peels the paint off the walls but somehow they come together. They decide, we're in this together. It's us against the world. And they come together and unify, and out of that unity, they become effective. The second half, you watch them, it's like, these are not even the same players,
Right,
but it is the same players. How do they do that? What happened?
Right.
It's the connection. That's what happened. And without that, man, leadership is pretty hollow. You can say, oh, we're going to build this building, we're going to take this mountain or whatever. But man, I want to do that with somebody. I want to do that together.
Right.
I want to feel like somebody's got my back.
Right. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's going to be critically important. His name is Keith Spurgin. The book is entitled Unknown, Finding Connection in a Disconnected World, available everywhere books are sold. Best-selling from USA Today, by the way. You're listening to him here on A New Direction. Hey, folks, you tune into A New Direction to grow your business and your mindset, but you can't move forward if you're worried about what's lurking in your inbox. This is where Data 443 comes in. They have a program called Siren. It's the industry standard for real-time email security and URL filtering. They stop the phishing and the malware before they ever strike. You don't even see it. It's happening in the background. So you can focus on your success, not your safety. Don't let a cyber attack derail your journey. Go to data443.com today. Secure your future. And Linda Craft Team Realtors. We all know that buying and selling a home isn't just a transaction. It's a major life transition. Whether you're buying your first place, making room for a new baby, or downsizing for retirement, can be incredibly stressful. That's why you need Linda Craft Team Realtors. For over 40 years, Linda has been helping people in all over the world and in the local community to help navigate these big life changes. Her team doesn't just sell houses. They take the stress out of the process so you can focus on your future. Don't go it alone. Let 40 years of experience work for you. Visit lindacraft.com, LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction with my friend Keith Spurgin, bestselling author of the book Unknown, USA Today, Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Appreciate you. Feel free to jot down your comments if you got a comment or a question. Love to hear from you. Chapter 4 is called The Inner Circle. Prioritize your relationships in concentric circles. And here's the thing. I think that sometimes when we think about relationships, we feel like we've got to treat everybody exactly the same, right? That everybody has to. And I think for sometimes the entrepreneur, the CEO, when they start thinking about relationships, they go, Jay, I don't, and maybe they say this to you too, Coach Jay, Coach Keith, it's just too much. I can only handle a few relationships, but you're making me feel like I got to be buddies with everybody and I got to treat them exactly the same. You don't say that. Talk about the concentric circles and prioritizing your relationships.
Yeah, one of the ways I like to say it is if you're a leader and you feel like you have to be fair, you're not going to be a very good leader. Because you can't be everything to everybody. You have to decide who are my priority people and then work the concentric circles out from that. So, for me, it's my relationship with God and then my relationship with my spouse. Sure. Those are right there. Those are the key relationships. And then my kids, I got to have a really good relationship with them. Otherwise they're going to go off the rails and, they might anyway, but I want to invest as much as I can to help them be successful, without enabling them. And so that's key. And then I got to have a few friends, and that could be friends at work. It could be friends socially. It could be friends, I don't know, whatever you're involved in. But I got to have a few friends that are my most core relationships. And what I mean by that is some people who really, really know me inside and out, and I really know them inside and out. Because if I don't have that, I'm pretty isolated. And here's the thing that's really, I think, vital for all of us who are leaders. I need some people like that in my life who have full permission to say whatever they need to say to me.
Right.
Because as a leader, especially as a point leader, people don't feel that freedom. I don't care how great you think you are. They just, especially if they work for you, they don't feel that freedom unless you are super intentional about a few people that you consistently say, hey, you have freedom to give me feedback. And then when they do, you have to respond really well. Because if you don't, they'll stop and they'll leave. And the people that you want to be speaking in will be the first ones to leave because they'll be like, I don't have a place here. And so pretty soon you'll be surrounded by people who have nothing to say.
And there's a second part to this. is it's not just having them, but it's having the right people.
Oh yeah.
Because you say there's two reasons why the closest relationships that you have really matter. One, it determines the quality of your life. And then number two, it determines the direction of your life.
Yeah,
So,
because you're going to become like the people that are closest to you.
right. Well, I mean, right. I don't remember. I think it was Charlie Tremendous Jones, right, who said in 5 years, you'll be the sum total of the books you read and the people you hang out with.
He did.
Right.
That's a good quote.
And the fact of the matter is we have to be selective.
Yes.
Right. If those people who are in that inner circle, right, I don't want to call them disciples or Talmudim, but those people who are in that inner circle. And listen, I have about 5 guys,
yeah,
who are my inner circle guys.
Yeah.
Right. They all do different things. They're pretty much all successful in their own way, and they have permission to call me out. Right. And I've given it, and I've been straightforward with them. I said, boys, listen, if you feel like I'm trying to be right, you need to call me out on this, because, I can have a habit of, having to be right. Right. That, my father thankfully gave me for whatever. But that I've been breaking it. And my wife does it too, by the way. My wife has that permission to call me out.
Yeah.
If she feels like I'm, being, if she feels like I'm trying to be right. Right. And then when I'm called out, the other side of that is not to be defensive about it, because I gave him the permission to do it.
Yes. That's crucial.
Right.
Because your response is communicating whether this is really okay or not.
Right.
The fact that you said it's okay is like, well, maybe, but then how you respond says whether it's really okay or not. And I find a lot of people, leaders included, respond really poorly. Like sometimes I'll come home from work and I'm carrying everything home with me, and my wife will look at me and say, "You're kind of grumpy." And I'm like, I'm about to show you grumpy. You know what I mean?
You haven't seen grumpy yet, baby. Baby, I know what the grumpy can be. You haven't seen it yet.
But if I say that, then that shuts her down or makes her really mad, one or the other. And either way, it doesn't go well. Sometimes I just need to look at her and say, wow, I don't see that, but you know what? Let me go and think about that. Let me go process that. And that's so helpful, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying all this stuff home from work. And I go back to her and say, you know what? I'm not saying this is an excuse. I just want you to know I carried a bunch of stuff home from work. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And it's like, boom, magic, man.
Right.
It's beautiful. But how you respond is so important.
Yeah, this is my mechanism back for that when I get called out. First of all, I bite my lip not to say anything, right? Because I really do have to think about it. What were my motives? What's going on? What triggered me? Right? Because something clearly triggered me to want to make a response. And then analyze that feeling of, am I feeling defensive right now? Because I got to really take a look at that feeling of defensiveness. And that's where I think when we're giving people permission with these inner groups, these inner circles, that you have to count the cost. All right. You have to count the cost before you make that statement. By the way, you cannot make it as a blanket statement and just go flip it out there. You really have to count the cost, because you have to recognize that if they do call you out, and they do, right? Okay.
At least once.
And with the spouse, with my wife, I can tell you it's more than once.
Oh yeah.
And because she's more sensitive to it than the guys sometimes are, because I'm not around them every single day. Right. So when I do get called out, I have to remind myself the cost I pay for that is not to respond immediately back to it with the defensiveness.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you have to calculate in there.
Yeah. And you've got to weigh, I'm going to put it this way, you got to weigh the return on investment too.
Right.
Like, if I don't listen to that, that's costly, because we all have blind spots, every single one of us, and they're called blind spots for a reason. You can't see them. Like, I have blind spots right now that I cannot see. That's why I need other people who have permission to speak into my life, so that I can see what I can't see, because I have such a limited view of myself. I only can see what I can see. And so when you have really vital people in your life, your spouse needs to be one, of course, but you need some key relationships beyond your spouse, because that's, a lot of people say, well, that's my spouse, they do that. That's too much weight for one person to carry, because you got a lot of issues, dude. I mean, all of us do. I've got a lot of issues.
I do too.
I need more than just my spouse speaking into my life to help me see what I can't see. And that's going to, you want to talk about like exponentially speeding up your growth curve, your personal growth and development. You want to speed that up way faster than reading books, is having some key people that you really trust, that have true permission to speak into your life, and you actually listen to them. Wow. You're going to grow like crazy.
Listen, I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this one. Every now and then I need a halftime speech.
Yeah. You need somebody to peel the paint off the wall.
I do. I really do. Listen, I played college football. I'm just telling you, every now and then I need a halftime speech.
Yeah.
To pull myself back together.
Because again, we're all broken, Jay.
Yeah.
We're all broken, and we need help. And if we don't invite that help, if we isolate ourselves relationally and build walls, we're not going to get that help. We're stuck with what we know.
Right. In chapter 6, which I'm so anxious to get to, it's called A Band of Brothers Who Has Your Back. And I love the title, because the guys that I have in my inner circle, I'm gonna just say this about my guys. You know, Jimmy, Judd, Russ, Bob.
I thought they were all going to be Jays.
No, there's those guys, and I know they tune into the show. Listen, I know you have my back, and I would dig a foxhole with you anytime. And if you didn't have the shovel, that's okay. I'll dig it for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I love those guys, and I know that they have my back.
Yeah.
Right. I think the question I have for the listener, and I think you're asking it too, is who has your back?
Yeah.
Why is that so important, do you think? I know what my reason is, but
can I ask you a question first? I know you're the interviewer,
sure,
but those relationships you just named, those are, obviously there's emotion with that, and that's very real for you, and it's powerful. But my question to you is, and it's an obvious rhetorical question, but have you been hurt along the way in relationships?
How many times have I been hurt?
Exactly.
But the reason I've been hurt, but I'm going to qualify that. The reason I've been hurt is because I made really poor choices in the people that I chose, who I thought were going to be in my foxhole, but they weren't. And I learned over time to make better choices because I looked at character. Before I didn't look at character, I looked at what we had in common.
Yeah.
My guys have character.
Yeah.
They're character guys.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense. But I would also say that you probably, even in those relationships, you and they have had some disappointments at times, or some hurt feelings, and you had to work through things.
We don't agree on any. We don't agree on a lot of things.
Exactly. But this is part of the cultural norm that we're in right now. Is if you don't agree with me, that means you hate me.
No.
And so many people are operating that way right now. It is so, it's where the cancel culture comes from. It's like, if you don't agree with me, that means you're against me, and you're hurting me, and you're hate. No, it doesn't mean that at all. I love you, or otherwise I wouldn't tell you the truth or how I feel. You know, I mean, it's just, We got to get past this stuff.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I'm just going to speak to men.
Yeah.
For a minute here, okay? Because I think women do a better job at this than we do as men, right? All my guys, we love each other, and we tell each other that we love each other.
Yeah.
Now, some of these guys are Marines, retired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hoorah, you know. And sometimes
all the things
that go with that,
Yeah.
right? But you know what? We tell each other we love each other.
Yeah.
Because we have that bond that is really significantly important to us.
Yes.
And this is something I think that men struggle with more than women do.
Yeah.
Because I hear my wife with her best friends, and they tell each other they love each other all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it's supposed to happen that way, right?
Yeah.
It's a little harder with guys.
Yeah, and it goes back to that word I used earlier, vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, and as guys, we don't really want to be vulnerable. For whatever, there's a whole set of sociological and psychological reasons for that, but you don't have depth of relationship without vulnerability. There's no other way to get there. But vulnerability is risky.
It is, but it also takes time.
Absolutely.
See, this is the other part of it that I don't think we like to hear, is that, you know, when I hear leaders go, I don't have the time to invest in a relationship. Well, okay, I've heard that.
Yeah, you're going to be a lonely person then.
Okay, so okay, you're a coach too, just like I am. We work with leaders, right? When you hear a leader say that to you, Keith, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I got to be honest with you. I am so busy, and I've got a major company to run here, and I have people depending on me, and board directors that are depending on me to make money. I don't have time to invest in people like that. And you're telling me this is going to take, I got to be choosy and I got to take time. I don't, where's that time going to come from, Keith?
Yeah. I just had this conversation with the CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization. And my question was, when this person said that, almost exactly what you just said, my question was, who chose your life? Did you choose your life, or did somebody else choose it?
Right.
Because you choose what is most important to you, and you choose what your priorities are. I choose what is most important to me, and I choose what my priorities are. I'm a super busy person. I mean, my day leading up to this conversation right now was unbelievably packed. But, you know, tonight I'm going to spend some time with some people that I really, really love and build relationship, because that's what's important to me. I'm super tired. I don't want to do it. I mean, part of me doesn't want to do it, but you choose what you prioritize. We all do. And I think you have to decide, yes, you're super busy. I get it. But you're the one choosing what's on your calendar.
It reminds me of working out, right?
Yeah.
And eating right. It's like, if you want a comparison, you know, if you want to get back in shape, it's going to take you time.
Yeah.
You're going to have to eat right, and you're going to have to work out consistently. If you want to see the results of what you're going to do to become healthier. And I don't think this is any different. You have to choose good people, and then you have to spend time with them. And over the course of time, the benefits pay off, just like a workout does.
Yeah, because the natural trajectory of every relationship in our lives is toward disconnection, not connection. If you just leave it to itself, right? It's the law of entropy. You just leave it to itself, it's just going to deteriorate over time, say in a marriage and a friendship and a whatever. But when you're intentional and you invest in it, it grows and deepens. And we have to decide if we're going to do that or not. All of us have to make that decision.
His name's Keith Spurgin. Isn't he awesome? I think he is. The book is entitled Unknown. It's a USA Today bestseller. Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. You're listening to him here on a new direction. Hey, folks, one click, that's all it takes for ransomware, phishing to shut down your business. Stop the threat at the source. Go with Data 443 Siren, Cyren. Powered by the world's most robust threat intelligence network, Siren detects and blocks attacks in real time, protecting your data, your employees, and your reputation. Stop hoping you're safe. Start knowing you're safe. Visit data443.com right now to see the solution in action. And, if you're planning a move, you got to check out lindacraft.com. Honestly, and I'm biased. I am. I'm going to completely admit it. But honestly, I think it's much more than just home listings that you can find on a website. Linda understands that moving impacts your entire family, including your kids and your pets. In fact, that's why her website features exclusive advice from a child psychologist on how to help your kids adjust to a move, and even tips from a veterinarian on how to move with pets. It is the complete emotional resource center for your family. See the difference for yourself. Log on today. lindacraft.com, LINDACRAFT.com. And folks, look, I grew up in the Midwest, and out there we hate spinning our tires in the mud. And so if you're a leader feeling stuck right now, let's skip the 400-page textbooks and get right to the point. Listen, you've heard me say it. I'll say it again. There are no business problems. They're just personal problems that infect your business. I mix that with plain old common sense to turn frustrated leaders into absolute winners. You don't need more corporate jargon. You need traction. Let's get you winning again. Head over to jayizzo.com, JAYIZSO.com, and let's get to work. And we're back here on A New Direction with my friend Keith Spurgin and his book, Unknown, Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. We're talking about band. We just finished up with Band of Brothers. I just want to say for folks here is that I would say, and I think this is some of the questions in Keith's chapter at the end of this chapter is, but I would say, and Keith, correct me if you or add to it. You know what? One of the questions you should ask yourself when you're evaluating your friends that you have, are they helping you grow or not? Because if you're not growing, you're dying. And I think that's a really critical piece of the friendships that you have, your close friendships. Are they helping you grow? You agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And would you add to that?
Yeah. I want people in my life who they're not stagnant. They're not static. They're developing as humans and growing and becoming better versions of themselves. I want to be that for them too, because when you have friendships that both people are doing that, it just inspires you. It's like, wow, look at you go, man. I want some of that too, and I just think that's so powerful. And I want to be the best version of myself, and I'm not there yet. So.
Yeah, me neither. Matter of fact, I don't feel close. So, honestly, chapter 7, A Word to Leaders, Making the World a Better Place. I want to start off. First of all, I want to start off with Jim Collins, because you quote him in the book, in his book, Good to Great. I just want to say this. When I first read that book, I didn't get nearly as much out of it as I've gotten the second and third, fourth time that I've read it recently. I'm getting far more out of it now than I did then. I don't know why. I guess maybe I've changed. But in his book, and you quote him, he says, the reason we don't have great schools is because we have pretty good schools. The reason we don't have great businesses is because we have pretty good businesses. The reason why we don't have great families is because we have pretty good families. And one of the things you say is great leaders don't give in to the gravitational pulls towards mediocrity. And I think this is where relationships come in. Because if you don't have great relationships, you are not the best version of yourself, or you're not even growing towards that best version of yourself.
No.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. One of the stories I share in the book is about Napoleon, who was a crazy dude, but he was an incredible leader in many ways. His soldiers would follow him anywhere. They would do anything for him. And you look at that, you're like, why? What was the purpose of all that? And I'm not even sure what all the purpose was. But Napoleon would go around to his soldiers before a battle and in between battles, and he would get to know them. I mean, he'd just ask about their spouse, or he would ask about their kids, or he would bring up things that he knew about them. And they felt so valued that they would literally give their lives for this guy. And I just think as leaders, when we don't value our people, we're missing an incredible opportunity, not only to help them develop and become all that they can become, but we're missing an opportunity for them to be truly effective and feel empowered and feel inspired. Man, I want people working for me who are inspired. I don't
Right.
want the person who's just kind of going through the motions. And that makes all the difference. I read a story many years ago about a reporter who went around to these stonemasons when they were building the great cathedrals in London. And Sir Christopher Wren was the architect. And so this reporter went around to this one job site, and he went to this one guy and he said, "What are you doing?" This guy said, I'm cutting stone for a shilling a day. And he went back to work. And he went over to this other guy and he said, "What are you doing?" And the guy looked up at the sky and he said, "I'm helping Sir Christopher Wren build London's greatest cathedrals." Now, which one do you want working for you?
Yeah.
I mean, I want the guy with the vision in his eye and the passion, And he knew that Christopher Wren cared about him, and it mattered what he was doing. So I just think as leaders, there's something so powerful in us just caring about our people.
I had a defensive coach in college by the name of Tom Hood. He was defensive coordinator and our coach. And I want to tell you that every young man from senior to freshman, we'd have fallen on our sword for him.
Yeah.
We would have.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he yelled at us or tore the paint off the walls, but you did not want to disappoint him. And you would play your guts out. If you had your arm hanging off your hip, you were still playing.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that leadership right there that he had, because he cared about us, and you knew he cared about us. You knew he cared about every one of us, and we were a bunch of ragamuffins.
Yeah.
But he truly cared about us. And when he brought us together and said, "Here's the adjustment we're going to make," it was dead silent, and we executed it.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And
you're nailing that point. That's so good. I bet if every one of us, everybody listening, thought about the greatest leader that you've ever known, I can almost guarantee every one of us would say that was a person who truly cared about me. I knew I mattered to them.
Yep.
And that's, man, I think we're just missing so much when we don't take the time to show people that kind of value.
I agree. I totally agree. Part 2 of this book, Unknown, is building life-giving relationships, trust, transparency, love, and open communication. In chapter 8, I got to do this chapter because it's one of my favorites. It's called Own It, Taking Responsibility for Your Part. Let's talk about owning it. Owning what?
Well, we all make mistakes. We all mess it up. The trust is the foundation of relationship. Trust is the currency of leadership. So there's times when we're going to make mistakes and we're going to make a trust withdrawal, from a relationship. If we don't own that, if we don't say, "Hey, this is on me. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." If we don't take the time to own it, we lose credibility in people's eyes, and people wonder, can I really trust this person? It's not just that you made a mistake. It's the fact that you aren't even acknowledging the mistake or owning the mistake or saying anything about it. Or if you're just excusing it and blaming it on someone else, then, and especially for leaders, you're like the emperor with no clothes, and we have to own our stuff. And my experience as a leader, I've been leading for 30 plus years. My experience as a leader is when I own a mistake, it doesn't push my people away from me. It actually draws them to me. It creates authenticity where they're like, okay, because they all know. I always tell leaders, if you ever get this great revelation about something about yourself that you messed up or that you don't do well, and you sit down with your team and you go, hey guys or gals, whoever, I want you to know, I kind of messed this up, or I'm not very good at this. Nobody in that circle's surprised. Nobody's like, oh, we never noticed. They all notice. They all already know. So the fact that you're trying to hide it just makes you look like a fool, honestly, because they know. And really what they're looking for is, do you know? Or are you just that dumb? Or are you just that prideful that you won't even admit what we all already know? And I think when as leaders, when we do admit it, when we own it, and we don't have to grovel in it and act crazy about it, but we just own it and say, I'm really sorry. I hope you guys can forgive me. Now let's move on to the next thing. There's something so powerful about that and so authentic about it. It draws people to you and builds trust.
It does. I'm reminded of asking people and leaders in general, what percentage of the relationship do you own? Right. And typically I get 50-50. Right.
Yeah.
And my wife and I play by this rule. It's called the 100% rule. And I said, no, it's actually 100%. And they go, what do you mean it's 100%? And I said, well, my wife and I play by this rule. I'm 100% responsible for what I say. I'm 100% responsible for what I do. And I'm 100% responsible for how I respond to whatever you say or do to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 100% rule.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's true in every relationship I have.
Yeah.
Right. And even if my percentage is 0.0001, I got to own that.
Yep.
Instead of looking at the 99.9999%, that's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I got to look at that 0.0001.
Yep. One of the best days in my leadership life was the day I stopped blaming other people for not hearing what I was saying. I'm like, I've said this 5 times. How can they not hear it? But if I haven't said it in a way that they can hear it, I haven't said it. I got to figure out a way to communicate it where they can hear it and where it can break through. And I got to own that.
Yeah.
And it's so easy as a leader, especially when things don't go well, to look for who I can blame and whose fault was this. And man, I'm not saying there aren't times when people are at fault, but if you as a leader don't own your stuff, how can you possibly expect the people on your team to own their stuff? They're not going to.
Right. Brother, we've done an hour.
Oh.
It's gone really, really fast.
It
always does go really, really fast.
It's been fun, man.
I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell folks how they can get a hold of you.
You can go to keithspurgin.net, KEITHSP as in Peter, URGIN.net. And you can see some blogs I've written. You can order the book there. You can reach out to me if you'd like to know anything more about me, or I do speaking engagements, different things like that, or if you'd like some coaching or whatever. KeithSpurgin.net, that's the place.
Great coach, folks. He's a great coach, and really suggest if you feel that you feel aligned with what he's saying here, folks, reach out to him. Keith Spurgin, SPURGIN.net. Reach out to him. Keith, thanks for being on the show. Stay with me, will you please?
All right.
As we close, folks, this is a show. You know what I say to you every week? You're in control of 3 things: your attitude, your effort, and your resiliency. The fact of the matter is, life doesn't always give us what we want, and sometimes we find ourselves in circumstances we did not choose. But what you do have a choice over is your attitude. Make it a positive one. It's not always easy, but it is within your control. Your effort is tied to your excellence. We don't always have the same amount of energy in the tank, but whatever you do have, how excellent will you be with your effort? Again, that's in your control. And resiliency, we all get punched in the gut and punched in the mouth every now and then and get knocked down, but it's up to us to get back up. Why? Because you're worth it, and we want you on the team. You know what? You got a lot of choices. You chose us. I thank you for that. I'm grateful for you all over the world. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Tell your friends. Write us a positive review wherever you're listening to the show. We're on all over the place. So please do that for us too. You know, I thank you all over the world. You know what I say to you every week, and that is this: ciao, everybody.